Hey you, and welcome to lesson 26. Today we are going to talk about memories, expressions that we use when we are talking about past memories, nice memories, bad memories. We'll also talk about I wish, if only, to talk about wishes in the past, present, and future. Then we will talk about in case and unless, what are the differences and how to use them correctly. Finally, we will end the lesson with how to ask someone for their phone numbers and how to give your phone numbers and how to read the phone numbers correctly. And without further ado, let's get to it. Welcome to lesson 26. We will start today by going down the memory lane. Memories. The first way to talk about your memories, the most common one is using the verb remember. So let's take a look at different uses, different ways we can use remember. First one, I remember. I remember normally followed by a verb in ing form. I remember spending every summer at camp when I was a child. I remember, we can add after I remember a person or a thing or a noun. I remember him. We met at a conference. I remember that TV show. I remember plus that plus subject plus verb. I was going to make hamburgers, but then I remembered that she doesn't eat meat. All right, second one is, so this is number one, I remember. Second one, I'll never forget or I'll always remember. Use these phrases for things or experiences that were so strong and profound that you cannot forget about them. I'll never forget the day my daughter was born. I'll never forget the day my daughter was born. I'll always remember that phone call when I was told that my best friend died in a car crash. All right, number three. If I remember correctly, or as far as I can recall. This is if you're not 100% sure about something, but you think that what you remember is correct. Okay, so I think she's vegan. I think she's vegan. I think she's vegan, if I remember correctly. I think she's vegan, if I remember correctly. Or you can say, as far as I can recall, he was from India. As far as I can recall, he was from India. I mean, I'm not 100% sure where he's from, but I'm pretty sure he was from India, but not 100% sure. Okay, next one. Next phrase is, I have a vague recollection of. I have a vague recollection of. That means you really don't remember something very well. But, you have a general idea you have a general idea, but you don't know the details. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. I have a vague recollection of what he said. I mean, I remember that I talked to him, but I don't remember exactly what he said. I have a vague recollection. Or, I have a vague recollection of visiting him in his new house last year. I have a vague recollection of visiting him in his house last year. I mean, I kind of remember going to his house, but I don't remember any details. Okay? Now let's go to the next one. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip of my tongue. This is if you can okay, let's say you're trying to remember someone's name or something, and you know you're very close to it, but you cannot think of it that second. So you say, it's in the tip of my tongue. It means I'm very close. to remembering it, but it's escaping me right now. Okay, so use this phrase when you are trying to remember something. Hold on one second, let me just change the tool. Use this phrase when you are trying to remember something, usually a word or a person's name, but you can't quite say it yet. This expression is often used to get a few more moments to remember the word or name you're trying to think of. Okay, let's take a look at some examples. It won't take me much time to remember her name. It was on the tip of my tongue. Just give me a minute. His birth date is on the tip of my tongue. I can't exactly remember the title of the book, but it's on the tip of my tongue. All right, next one is my mind went blank. Okay, this is if you have no recollection of something at all, if you completely forgot. So you use this phrase, my mind went blank. This phrase is to describe a moment when you couldn't remember or think of anything. It's common for people's mind to go blank during moments of pressure like tests and presentation. All right, let's take a look at a couple of examples. He knew all his lines in rehearsal, but his mind went blank when he went before an audience. Before here, we use before, it's the same way of saying in front of. So you standing before me, that means you're standing in front of me. Or the thing was before me the whole time, it means it was right in front of me the whole time. So just before or in front of, they mean the same thing. Okay, so let's see. Excuse me. Use your. Okay, where are we? Where are we? Okay, he knew all his lines in rehearsal, but his mind went blank when he went before an audience. This is probably for an actor. They're rehearsing. They're doing rehearsals before the day of the recording or the shooting or the play. And then when he went before an audience, then his mind went blank because of stress. Next one. Even though I'd been preparing for the interview for days, my mind went blank as soon as they started asking me questions. All right, let's see. Next expression is it doesn't ring a bell. It doesn't ring a bell. It means you're very unfamiliar with it. This expression is used when you have heard something. Excuse me. So this expression is used when someone asks you if you heard something, or if you know something, or if you remember something, and you say it doesn't ring a bell. It means I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, let's take a look at some examples. Your description doesn't ring a bell, probably because I have never been there myself. Or have you ever heard of Steve Robinson? The name doesn't ring a bell with me. Okay, it means, or here, do you know Michael Smith? He works in our London office. And you don't remember, so you say, the name doesn't ring a bell. It means I have no recollection. Okay, let's take a look at the next phrase. I'd like to remind you to, or I'd like to remind you about. This is a nice way to remind someone about something, a diplomatic way to remind someone about something that the other person, you don't want the other person to forget. Okay? So for example, I'd like to remind you about your dentist appointment tomorrow, or I'd like to remind you about the $100 you owe me. Pay up. All right. Next one is I'd like to remind you to plus verbs. I'd like to remind you to plus verb. I'd like to remind you to send me the information by Friday. I'd like to remind you that I am moving out at the end of this month. All right, now let's talk about some wishes. I wish and if only. So we use these two. We use wish and if only to talk about things that we would like to be different in. either the present or in the past. So we use I wish or if only if you want something to change, either in your present situation or something to be different in the past. Excuse me. Okay, so if we use it in the present, we can we can use wish or if only plus the past form to talk about the present situation. Let's see. I wish you didn't live so far away. Excuse me. I wish you didn't live so far away. If only we knew what to do. He wishes we could afford a holiday. This is to talk about it in the present. Now, to talk about it in the past, we can say, they wish they hadn't eaten so much chocolate. If only I'd studied harder. So you can use it if I wish or if only to talk about both past or present situations. What about future wishes? If we want to talk about future wishes, we use wish and would. We use wish with would, right? Wish with would to talk about the future, about future wishes. For example, I wish you to stop talking. This is incorrect. The correct way to say it is I wish you would stop talking. I wish you would stop talking. I wish that they will stop arguing. That is incorrect. I wish they would stop arguing is the correct way to say it. So correct, wrong, correct. We can also use this pattern in situations that do not involve people. I wish this car would go faster. This is also correct. Now, what about if only? If only can be more emphatic than I wish. The verb form after if only are the same as a pattern with wish. If only I had more money. If only I was going on holiday with you. If only you were here. If only, why am I using this one? All right, hold on one second. If only you were here. So this is, we use if only for future wishes in this form. If only you were here, but you're not. If only the sun would come out. If only you could be here, and so on. All right, now let's take a look at in case and unless. Okay, the use of in case and unless, and what are the different uses for them. So let's start with the first one, in case. In case expresses the possibility of something happening. Okay, so you're not sure it'll happen, but just in case it does, just in the possibility if it does happen. So it is used to express the idea of doing something to avoid possible problems later on. So it's more like a precaution. You do something to avoid something else in the future. All right, let's take a look. Take an umbrella in case it rains. There is a possibility that it will rain, so it's a good idea to take an umbrella with you. You'd better take a coat in case it gets cold later on. Okay, now in case of, that means if there is. Okay, in case of, that means if there is. For example, normally you see this in like formal situations or letters, or when like not letters but forms when you fill an application. In case of emergency, contact this person. It means if there is an emergency. So in case of emergency, call this number. In case of breakdown, please press the red button and call for assistance. So in case of means if there is. All right, let's take a look at let's take a look at unless. Unless means except if or only if. Okay, except if or only if. Let's see. unless replaces if in a negative verb. Sally won't come unless you invite Harry. Sally won't come unless you invite Harry. That means Sally won't come except if you invite Harry, and it means Sally will only come if you invite Harry. It also means if you don't invite Harry, Sally won't come. I guess she really likes Harry. We will have a picnic unless it rains. It means if it doesn't rain, we will have a picnic. If it rains, we will not have a picnic, basically. Okay, let's move on to phone numbers. Telephone numbers. Okay, how can you ask about someone's phone number? If you want to know someone's phone number, you can say, what's your phone number? Right? Normally, when in spoken English, we don't say telephone. It's just too old and long. We say phone. Nobody says telephone, right? The person will normally respond, it is, and then they will say the number. So if you say, what's your number? They'll be like, it is, and what's your number? Unless, if you're asking a girl that doesn't like you, she'll be like, get away from me, you creep. But that is for a different situation. Now, what is your phone number? Mobile phone versus cell phone. Okay, so in Britain and Europe and the rest of the world, they say mobile phone. Americans decided to use cell phone instead. So cell phone is short for cellular phone. So in America, nobody says mobile phone. They say cell or cell phone. Okay, so mobile phone is used in British English, cell phone is used in American English. Another way of asking someone about their number, it's, so these are different ways of asking about someone's number. So you can say, what's your phone number? That is one way, but there are other ways you can ask someone a number. You can say, what's your mobile number? Or what's your cell number? What's your mobile phone number? What's your cell phone number? Okay, very informal way to ask about someone's number is to say, can I have your digits, or can I get your digits? That is an informal way. Now, pronunciation is different of the word mobile. Okay, American, I keep saying mobile. This is the American pronunciation of the word. British English, they say mobile. But American English, mobile. Same word, both are correct, just different pronunciation. All right, now how to say your phone number in English. Let's take a look at this number. 369258847. In spoken English, we have a few rules when we say a phone number. Rule number one is you say each number individually. You don't go like 3692 5847. Nobody says that. You don't say 369 258 and 47. No, you say each number individually. So number two, second rule is how do you say zero in a phone number? In zero, when there is a zero in the telephone number, there are two ways of saying it. The most common way is to pronounce the zero as O. Okay? This is like 95%. This is how phone numbers are said. You pronounce the zero as O. Sometimes the zero is pronounced as zero and not O, but that is very uncommon. Okay, so just say O, don't say zero. Nobody says zero. Okay, so let's read this number together. 5059 1023. 5059 1023. All right. Consecutive numbers. Consecutive numbers. If a phone number contains two of the same number together, we usually say double. Okay? We say double instead of saying both numbers. So if we say 5718 3369, okay? Or 69. 5718 3369, not 3369. Okay. Now, if the number is we have the same number 3 times, we just say triple. Okay. As in 2147 8777, 2149 8777. However, in many movies or TV series, the phone number that appears starts with 555, and they say the numbers individually as 555 and not 555. This is a fake phone number, so people don't call them 555. Okay, so never mind this. So anyways, if the number is, you have 2 of the same number, you say double. If you have 3 of the same number, you say triple. If you have a 0, you say O. Okay, to sum up, what's your phone number? The 0 is O, the double is double, and the triple is triple. And that will do it for today. So I will see you next lesson.